What up, though? It's your boy Big Snoop DL Double J. Oh my God. Gotta give a shout out to
DJ
Magic's. You can hit him up at his Instagram. It's Magic's the Man at MAGIXTHEMAN.
What is up, my outside the box listeners? It's your girl Ari, aka Ari Luv, aka Ari the Foodie Bae if I'm hungry. But today we are talking business, and today's going to be a really great episode because I'm really excited because I have the founder of AWA Market Place, and her name is Temilola. And so Temilola, before we get into, the nitty gritty of AWA Marketplace, can you tell us where you're from and what inspired you to create AWA Marketplace?
Yeah, definitely. So hi, everyone. Really glad that you guys are joining us today to listen. So just a little bit about me. My name is Temilola Adedipe, and I am actually originally from Nigeria. So I was born there, immigrated to the United States at the age of 4 with my parents and my siblings. And now I currently live in Houston, Texas. So when I think back to what really inspired me to create AWA Marketplace, it really kind of stemmed from an issue that I had with my own personal skincare journey. So when I was young, I would say in the ages of high school, so around 16, 17, 18, I was dealing with my oily acne prone skin, and everything was causing me to break out, right? I was having constant flare-ups, and I was getting ready. I knew that college was in a couple of years, and I was getting ready to go to college, and I was just man, I really want to work on my skin. I want to make sure that I'm going into college feeling the most confident, and so I remember I started looking up, how to clear up acne and, what are some big contributors to acne. And that's when I dug into the rabbit hole of toxic ingredients. And so, and I was on Google and just reading articles and things like that. And I found that a lot of ingredients that are in our everyday products are actually harmful to us and may cause acne flare-ups because of their quote unquote side effects, right? And I was okay, wait a second, right? Am I using ingredients or am I using products that are actually making my acne worse and not really making it better? And so, when I kind of saw that, I decided that, I was going to take a look at my favorite products, flip them over, right? Because one thing that I definitely was not doing at the time was looking at the ingredients on the back of my products. I would just kind of look at the front, right? And if it says plant-based or if it says non-toxic or if it says clean, I'm okay, that's for me, right? But I wasn't really looking at the ingredients. And so, I remember I was doing my Google search and I was oh my gosh, I was scared to open up my little skincare drawer and actually flip over my ingredients to see. And, and I took the chance. I was okay, look, let me just go ahead and see what's on the back of these products. And I found that some of them contained mineral oils. Some of them had fragrance, synthetic fragrances in them. Some of them had sulfates and phthalates and parabens. And I was wait a second, these are the exact ingredients that I'm seeing in these scientific journals that are saying that are causing adverse side effects. And honestly, seeing that made me so devastated. I really felt defeated because I was wait, I get these products from Walmart, the Walmart that's close to my house or the Target that's close to my house, And so it was okay, maybe I need to change my approach. And so, that's when I really started looking online to try to find, skincare products that really were clean, that didn't have any of those toxic ingredients in them. And so I stumbled upon this one brand called Bahi Cosmetics, which now they changed their name. They're now Ayala and Cole. And I discovered them, and I believe the first product that I bought from them was their sunflower sweet serum. And, I kind of just took a chance because I wasn't really into the whole plant-based skincare products. So I was let me just try it out. So I bought it. And I remember, just after 2 weeks, I could already see differences in my skin. And maybe it was because I wasn't using products with those toxic ingredients in them. But the sunflower sweet serum was doing its thing for me, you know? And so when I saw that, I was like, okay, you know, I really need to go ahead and make this change. So little by little, I started to take each and every single one of my products. So like, you know, I'm talking cleansers, moisturizers, even like bar soaps, right? Like shampoos, conditioners. I started to take each and every single one of my products and swap them out for plant-based alternatives. And this time, like I made sure to do my due diligence and actually read the ingredients, right? And make sure that like the things that I was avoiding that weren't actually in those products. And little by little, you know, I started to make those changes. And when I tell you that my skin I would say within like the first year of me, you know, really fully making that change, my skin was transformed, right? And I, you know, of course, like when I was like looking into plant-based skincare, things like that, I also discovered, you know, gut health and like all the things that you need to do to really heal yourself from the inside out, right? Because at the end of the day, like your skin is just showing you like how your body is reacting to maybe what you're eating or to what's going inside of your body. And so it really just like catapulted me into that, you know, holistic wellness industry. And like, I honestly just fell in love, right? And so when I saw that like the products that I was using, the plant-based alternative products that I was using, that they were actually helping me, people started to notice. People started to ask me, oh, well, like, what do you use on your skin? What are you doing for your skin? Like, how does your skin look so good? And so that's when I really saw the opportunity that like we have so many Black-owned brands and Black-owned businesses that make it their mission to offer these plant-based alternatives to us. Because if we're going to be honest, right, like we can see that that like toxic ingredients have just been pushed into the Black community for so long, right? And so because I mean, Black consumers, like we use skincare and beauty products almost every single day, right? Like it's just part of our lifestyle now. Like it's just part of our everyday. And so, you know, just kind of seeing that and seeing that we have brands out here, specifically Black-owned brands that make it their mission to offer these alternatives to us. I was like, no, we need to have like a one central place where people can find brands like this, you know? And so that's kind of what inspired me to create AWA Market Place. I was like, look, AWA is going to be that one-stop shop for all your plant-based needs, right? Like if you're looking for skincare products, hair care products, personal care products, we're hoping to add like a makeup brand on there as well. So really just like anything that you use in your everyday life, like we want to provide those products with, you know, with clean plant-based ingredients, you know, that we know that aren't harmful to us, because there's so many things in our day-to-day life. I mean, even if we talk about pollution and, you know, just all the things that we as Black people in America just have to deal with, like we don't want us to also have to deal with having trouble finding products that, you know, are non-toxic and that are clean and that are not harmful to our bodies. So that was really the inspiration behind AWA Marketplace. It really just kind of started from my own personal journey and wanting to, you know, help others that were on that same journey.
Wow, I love that. And there were just so many things that you said that I really would like to unpack. For one, so you were finding products that would say, you know, plant-based or vegan or paraben-free, but once you flipped it over to the back and looked at the actual ingredients, that was a lie?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was finding. And it's so crazy because, you know, when you think about it, like we don't have a definition for clean or plant-based, right? Like like the FDA hasn't come out with anything to say that, oh, if you brand yourself as vegan, then these are the products that you're not, or these are the ingredients that you're not allowed to have in your products. We don't have any sort of institution that, you know, kind of watches out for things like that and make sure that, you know, products that are branding themselves as vegan and plant-based and organic or natural, that they're actually adhering to these standards. And so when I saw that, I was like, no, we're not about to do that. And so that's when I decided to engage with a cosmetic chemist, and she's actually a Black woman herself. And so she, you know, has studied the effects of certain ingredients on the human body and on our skin, right? And so, you know, I had multiple meetings with her. Her name is actually Eliane Treadwell, and she's phenomenal. Her laboratory is Relevant Laboratories, but she's just amazing. And so, I had multiple meetings with her, and we talked about, okay, what ingredients should we not allow? What ingredients should we allow? Are they really harmful? If they are harmful, how harmful can they be? Right? Because these are things that you have to talk about. And so that's when we came up with what we call our scratch it list. So our scratch it list is a list of ingredients that we do not allow on any of the products on AWA Market Place. So we decided, hey, if there's no institution that's going to come out here and say, this is what natural is, this is what organic is, then we're going to come up with our own definition, and it's branded on our website for people to see.
Oh man, I love that. Wow. Okay, so before we go any further, I hope listeners that you have your pen and paper out, because this is definitely one of those episodes. And you touched on the fact that you have to just, make sure everything is all natural. And I just feel like, as being a part of the Black community, I think that there might be a stigma that if something doesn't contain a certain ingredient, it's not going to work, if that makes sense. Like, for example, there's acne treatment that'll have peroxide in it and things like that. And I just feel like sometimes we look for those type of common chemical names to give us reassurance that this is gonna work.
Yeah.
And it's you hear, I hear you say, you mentioned sunflower oil, and I just, in my head, I know people, family that would think that's not gonna do anything. You know what I mean? But it's amazing how you can naturally just heal yourself and put natural ingredients together to be very beneficial. And I know you also touched on the fact that you even changed your diet a little bit. Did you do that kind of just temporarily to kind of boost up the chances of increasing your skin care, or did you permanently choose to be vegan or something? What's your dietary lifestyle today?
Yeah, definitely. So, just to kind of start off, what really kind of pushed me into really taking a look at my diet and what I was eating was my skincare, right? It was okay, well, I know that my skin is reacting to something that I'm doing, right? And so that's when I decided to make that change. And so now what I found that works for me, I know that, what works for me doesn't work for everyone,
right.
But what I found that works for me is, so what I do is, number one, trying to get as many fruits and veggies in as I can. So for me, that means in the mornings, right? I make a parfait of yogurt, of plant-based yogurt, right? And blueberries and strawberries and, granola and things like that. Just so, and taking in cucumbers and pineapples and just trying to get as much fruits and veggies in as I can. And then number two, I just don't eat red meat, right? So I cut out beef, I cut out pork, and because for me, I found that it was, number one, causing me to have digestive issues. And number two, I noticed that when I would eat beef, right, the next day I'd find a pimple on my face. And I'm like, that's interesting, right? And then I'm lactose intolerant, so I already don't eat cheese or dairy or anything like that.
Okay.
But before I found out that I was lactose intolerant, and I was drinking milk, cow milk and things like that, I would break out more often than not, and so when I saw those things, I was like, okay, no, these things have got to go. And so now, I changed my diet back in high school. And so now my diet really comprises of fruits and veggies. I like to do seeds. So I'll do pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, and I kind of mix that in with my granola, and then I eat fish. So I try to do Atlantic Atlantic salmon, and just different kinds of fish, like king mackerel, things like that. And then I'll do chicken every now and then, but really that's like what my diet consists of. And then I try to do like oyster mushrooms. That will kind of be like my replacement for meat. Right. So I'll like, do some like oyster mushrooms and just using like different kinds of foods that, maybe just aren't that widely known. But, just that I know that won't cause any sort of adverse reaction. So yeah, now I just don't really do like red meat really, and like dairy and cheeses and things like that.
That's awesome. And I'm over here, taking notes as well, because I have a teenage daughter, and, we're working together to, just like clear up her skin as well. And I definitely know it's based on the things that she eats. I mean, it's not as easy as it sounds to tell a teenager, stop eating all those hot Cheetos. And
oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, the hot Cheetos got me.
Man, those hot Cheetos, they got us in a chokehold. But I'm going to keep at it and just kind of look for alternative ways that, maybe I can make a natural hot Cheeto for her. So I know there's got to be something. And so moving on, more about AWA Market Place. So how did you come up with the name of your business? And could you tell us more about the Black-owned brands that's featured on your platform?
Yeah, for sure. So, I told you I'm originally from Nigeria, and the tribe that I'm from is the Yoruba tribe. And so my first language was Yoruba. And, so Awa comes from, Awa is a word in Yoruba. So Awa in Yoruba means us. Right. And it's a very simple word, right? Like when you think about it, us is just us, right? But when I think about what us means to me, us is like our community, right? Like us is the Black community. It's the Black African Diaspora, Pan-African community, right? And to me, us just meant like a place for us, right? Like a community for us that centers us, right? And so Awa just simply means us, but to me, it means a lot more. And so when I think about some of the brands that are on AWA Marketplace, like it just solidifies that meaning for me, because we've got Impeccable Melanin, which is a phenomenal, like they have like face care products and hair care products, and if you just look at their name, I mean, Impeccable Melanin, right? Like it really is, their mission is for others, people to feel impeccable in their melanin, and to me, that was like, yes, that embodies, the community that I'm trying to create for us, right? And then we've got Thoughts of You Co., which is a wellness brand. They offer like body oils and like bath sets and things like that are like plant-based. They've got herbs in them, which I absolutely love. We've got NK & Co., which is actually an African, the founder is Igbo, which is another tribe in Nigeria. And she is phenomenal. They've got body butters, hair creams, like serums and things like that. And then we've got Yara Shea Beauty, which is one of my favorites. She is also a Nigerian founder. And so she sources her shea butter straight from West Africa. And then not only that, but she works with a nonprofit in West Africa, to provide education to girls in West Africa around like period health and sexual health. And I just think that's wonderful, right? Because it's like we're, investing into businesses, and we're showcasing businesses that make it their mission to not only provide our community with plant-based, organic products, but also are trailblazers out in the world, right? Like, and are providing opportunities for those in Africa that may not have had the opportunity if they didn't come into contact with this business. So it's really, really cool, honestly, like what we're doing and some of the brands that we've got on there. We've also got AWA Enterprises, which they source their African exfoliating nets straight from Africa or straight from Nigeria, which I think is just awesome, right? Because if you look at, even if you look at like how some things are sourced, right? Like they say, yeah, like like we source it straight from Ghana or straight from Nigeria. But then if you think about it, it's like, okay, well, are you paying the people that you're sourcing this stuff from? Like, are you paying them appropriately? Are you paying them pennies on the dollar? Right. And so with AWA Enterprises, their mission is to provide opportunities for those that are in the market selling these African exfoliating nets. So they give them adequate, compensation so that they can go off and feed their families and, pay their children's school fees and things like that. So those are some of the brands that we currently have on AWA Marketplace, and we are onboarding a couple more. I don't want to speak too early, so, we'll definitely, those will definitely come out pretty soon, but, we're onboarding a couple of new brands as well. And those are just, other Black-owned brands that are sustainable, that, have a mission to providing non-toxic, clean, like plant-based personal care, beauty, and wellness items. And so yeah, those are some of the brands that we have on the marketplace so far.
Wow, I love hearing all this. And so also to touch on the brands that you're onboarding, I know that you mentioned you have an actual chemist who is a Black woman with her own laboratory, which is awesome. But can you kind of touch a little bit on how you vet these businesses to come on board? Because I know you said you have a scratch list. So do you, like, for the businesses, the vendors that want to come on board, is there like maybe a checklist that you would first send over to them, or how does the process work?
Yeah, definitely. So what happens usually is when a brand is interested in partnering with us, they fill out our brand partnership form. And so in that form, it kind of just talks a little bit about who we are. And then also I get, questions, I ask them questions about, where is your business located? Are you 51% Black owned or more? Right. Because that's another thing. So just to speak on some of the criteria that, we require brands that want to be on our marketplace. Number one, they have to be 51% Black owned or more. Right. Because our mission is really to offer financial freedom to those in the Black community. We've got brands that make it their life's mission to, offer these plant-based products to our communities. And so we want to make sure that they are indeed Black owned, right? Number two, they have to meet our clean ingredient standard. So we do not our scratch it list is on our website for those to view, but we do not hand that scratch it list to any brand that wants to onboard with us, simply because we don't want a situation where, we give that list out and then you have brands that might be like, oh, well, we've got this ingredient that's on their list that is, that we have in our products. So let's just like scratch this ingredient out or something like that. We want the brands to come to us transparently, tell us what products you want to offer on the marketplace and give us the list of ingredients. And then, that's when I engage, our cosmetic chemist, who essentially just kind of reviews the ingredient list for all the products that they want to offer on the marketplace. She checks for two things. So she checks, number one, to see if any of their ingredients are what's on our scratch it list. Because if they have ingredients that are on our scratch it list, automatically, like, that product is denied from selling on AWA Marketplace. And then number two, she checks that the ingredients that are in that product, that they are efficiently serving the community, right? And they're making the claims and able to meet the claims that they make, right? So if your product says that you're going to help with dark marks, but then none of the ingredients that are in your product actually help with dark marks, then it's not going to be approved to sell on the marketplace, right? Because we want to make sure that two things: that number one, that our community can trust that any of the products that they buy off of our marketplace doesn't contain any of these toxic ingredients. And number two, because just kind of what you spoke to earlier, there's a lot of, people that think like, oh, like if the product doesn't have this ingredient, then I know it's not going to work, right? But the beautiful thing about that is that there are multiple plant-based alternatives that actually do better they do a better job of, for example, fading dark marks, right? So our cosmetic chemist will essentially just check and double check that the ingredients that are in the product are actually, doing the things that they say they're going to do. So if it says it's going to fade your dark marks, she makes sure that like the ingredients in there are actually going to fade your dark marks, so that, people can trust that they're buying products that are actually going to do the things that they're hoping that it will. And then the last thing that we double check for is the brand's mission to sustainability and reducing their environmental impact. So we want to make sure that from sourcing to packaging, that these brands are really kind of sustainable in their practices, right? So not using plastic, bottles and things like that, right? Like going for more recyclable or reusable items, right? So we usually like to see like glass items or refillable containers, or you know what I'm saying, like things like that, so that we can really show people that like we are dedicated to sustainability and reducing our environmental impact. So those are really the three main things that we check for any brand that's interested in partnering with us and showcasing their products on AWA.
Wow, that's awesome. So yes, if you guys have not taken those notes yet, please, like I said, just get those notes going, because a few takeaways that you can definitely know for sure about AWA Marketplace is that their products, they're going to be fully sustainable. So you don't have to worry about the BPA levels. You don't have to worry about those hidden, like secret, low-key, not actually vegan ingredients. And she has a counsel. She said that she refers to her chemist and everyone else who checks out everything through and through as a counsel, which I love. And so for the business that might not meet your qualifications, how do you let them down? Do you let them down in a gentle way? Or also, when you do let them down, do you have plans to maybe in the future, because this might be like too much work for you right now, but maybe in the future, do you plan on giving them like the suggested alternative of what they can use instead of, the harmful ingredient that they might have right now?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's actually why, because I shopped around for different cosmetic chemists to partner with, but that's why I chose Eliane, because she is so thorough. So we actually had a situation where, we had a brand reach out to us. They wanted to partner with us. And upon receiving their ingredient list, we saw that they had BHT in their ingredients and, in one of their products. And so what she does actually is, she'll let them know that, hey, like this specific ingredient doesn't meet our clean ingredient standard. And then what we'll do is we give the brand opportunity to like go back to your sourcing, right? Like go back to your chemist or really whoever it is that helped you formulate this product and see if you guys can kind of switch that ingredient out. And then we let them know that, hey, in 3 months time, 3 to 6 months time, if you're able to fix this issue, you can hit us back up, right? Like send us an email underneath the same email thread and send us your new ingredients list and we will reevaluate you. Because the thing about it is that, there are a lot of brands that want to see themselves in Sephora or Ulta or
Right.
Walmart or Target. These are the same things that they're going to have to go through, right? We may be a little bit more stricter because of our clean ingredient standard, right? But they're going to have to go through this exact same thing. Your ingredients have to be labeled in a certain way, in a way that is compliant with the FDA. Like there's things that we check for that our cosmetic chemist checks for. And so when a brand doesn't meet those standards, then we gently let them know, like, hey, we saw this, and unfortunately, we cannot accept this product to be sold on AWA Marketplace because of this, and this. But if you make some fixes, you are definitely welcome to come back and let us reevaluate you. Because the thing about it is like these evaluations, they cost absolutely nothing to the brand, right? Like I'm the one that like we pay for the engagement, and having our cosmetic chemists evaluate these brands. And we did that for a reason, because we didn't want brands to feel like there was a financial barrier for them to get their products evaluated, right? So we cover those upfront costs so that the brand can like get that evaluation that they need and make any sort of necessary changes. Because at the end of the day, like we want to see everybody succeed, right? Like we want to see all these Black-owned brands succeed. But at the same time, like we also do have to make sure that we're sticking to our standard. But then also we're giving people another chance, right? Like if they go out and they change their ingredient list and they reformulate their products and then they want to be reevaluated, it's at no cost to them. And we are more than happy to reevaluate them, right? And so we just kind of make sure that, each brand, number one, is aware of why they were denied. And number two, has an opportunity to come back and be reevaluated by us.
Wow, I love that. You're all for helping, the Black entrepreneur, definitely in, the skincare lane and health and beauty and everything. But I also know that you have an affiliate program, if I'm not mistaken. And so can you just touch on your affiliate program? Like, what does it take to be an affiliate and why you chose to create something like that?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So I actually am a creator myself. I'm a Black creator myself, right? Like I started on social media back in college, but then I really kind of got into social media once I had graduated. I love all the content that I see on social media that, is centered around Black creators creating lifestyle content and wellness content and skincare, hair care content. And so, we really wanted to meet the needs of Black creators in the creator space, because if we're going to be honest, like Black creators are the standard, right? Like if you see like popping content, more than likely it's by a Black creator, right? Because like we're just so creative, like, and it's beautiful. And so, for us at AWA, we really wanted to showcase Black creators so that number one, like they could get their content out there. Because as a Black creator, and as many Black creators know, it is so hard to, partner up with these brands and actually get your content out there. Because unfortunately, and it's just the reality is that like, a lot of brands will pay white creators, but they won't pay Black creators,
right.
And so we wanted to provide a platform that allowed Black creators to, number one, get their content out there. And number two, give them a chance to earn commission on the products that they promote, right? Because like I said, right, like our biggest thing is financial wellness and financial freedom in the Black community, in the Black African Diaspora and Pan-African communities, right? And so we really wanted to touch on Black entrepreneurs and Black brands, as well as Black creators and those that make it their mission to introduce their communities to products and to a certain lifestyle and to holistic wellness. And so, in order for, someone to be in our creator program, they just simply have to fill out our form. We don't have any sort of like really strict guidelines or anything like that. I think the biggest thing really is just that we really want creators that are living a holistically like well lifestyle themselves, right? Because you can only promote something that you know about. You can only promote something that you live in and day out. And so, any Black creator that is interested in holistic wellness, in skincare, plant-based products, like those are the creators that we're looking for. And so, that's really the only kind of criteria that we're looking for. And most of the time, unless like, maybe your social media account isn't really the vibe that we're going for, that's really the only reason why anyone would ever be denied. Okay. But like, we haven't denied anyone from our affiliate program because, we've just seen an influx of very talented Black creators. And we really just want to do what we can to get their content out there and to showcase them and showcase the amazing content that they make for our brands.
That's awesome. And so basically also what it sounds like is, you're not, you're not weighing on like the follow count or like are you looking for like the engagement? And do they have to be between like a certain age, or is it pretty much just open to anyone, just as long as they're living like, the lifestyle that is kind of adjacent to, living in a holistic way?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's not really like a follower count, because I also know that, a lot of, I remember when I only had like what was like 200 followers on Instagram, and I felt like I did not feel like I was able to really pitch to those brands, because I was like, oh, no one's going to accept me. Like, I only have 200 followers. But hey, a community is a community.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? And like the community that I built on Instagram, like that's a community. Even though it's only like 1,000 something followers, like that's my community, right? Like I've had people apply to be in our affiliate program that only had like 200 followers. That's your community. Those are people that decided to follow you and decided to, because they want to see your content, And so we definitely don't have any sort of strict criteria, such as like a follower amount or anything like that, because, the way that AWA Marketplace started was just me telling my family and friends about the products that I was using. And that is what built this marketplace, And so it's like, and I think really the first couple of tribe members that we had was like my mom, my dad, my siblings, and like my two best friends. And it was like, but still, like, even with such a small community that I had, we were able to build to what we now have. We now have almost, I think, like 300 followers on Instagram for AWA. And so I think that, like at the end of the day, we don't ever want to, disclude someone because, of their follower count or something like that. Because like I said, a community is a community. And, as long as as long as it's your mission to live a holistically well lifestyle, then we'll accept you.
I love that. Okay, that's amazing. And I'm just over here like, okay, I'm about to fill out my affiliate form.
Yes.
You got me. And just being a business from scratch, which can be difficult. So could you share some examples of how you've had to think outside the box in order to bring AWA Marketplace to life?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, for sure. So, yes. So when AWA Marketplace first started, right, like we did not have any sort of funding. So really, I had just graduated from college. I got my first full-time job, and all the money that I was like saving, was kind of really going towards AWA Marketplace. And so when I think about some outside the box ideas that, I kind of had to think about in order to really bring this to life. Number one, what I would suggest to anyone that's trying to build a platform, trying to build a community, is start with the low-hanging fruit. When I say low-hanging fruit, I mean, what are the things that you can tackle right now, right? Like, I did not have like $20,000 to build my own website. No, just honestly, I didn't have that, right? And so therefore, I had to get kind of creative. So what we did was, when we first started, I found a marketplace platform. It's kind of like a plug and chug. So you kind of, you put in what brands you offer, they put in their products and things like that. It honestly didn't work that well, but that's okay, because what that allowed me to do was start my idea, right? Like now I had a proof of concept, right? That I could say, okay, this is what I like about this, and this is what I don't like about this. And so really what I would suggest to anyone that's trying to build a platform, that's trying to build a community, is start from the low-hanging fruit. Start from what you can tackle right now. And so, part of me choosing that plug and chug marketplace platform was talking to my community. I had to go around, ask my community, what do you guys want to see? What's important to you? What kind of products are most important to you, right? Like, what are the things that are missing from your personal care products that you don't have right now? Is a market marketplace even something that you want, right? So just kind of going out, doing that market research, and really just getting an idea of what your community needs, right? Because like, I know that there's a lot of, at least nowadays, people are just kind of creating businesses and it's like, oh, I think this will be good. And they just, let me just create the business, but it's like, you're not validating what you want to do with anyone, right? And just kind of getting like, simply just like taking the chance to go talk to others, even if it's in your immediate community, even if it's like a friend of a friend, right? Or even if it's on social media. We started on social media. And it's like just asking people, hey, like, what do you want to see? Like, what's missing? What do you feel like is something that you would want to see that's not currently there, right? And just getting that feedback and then being willing to say, okay, we don't have the money to go and do this big thing that we want to do, but where can we start from that'll give us the chance to create a proof of concept so that we can at least kind of start getting that feedback. And so once I had created or once we had partnered with that marketplace platform, that's when I really got to see, okay, this is what, when I do get the funds to build my own website, this is what I would want, or this is what I don't want. This is what, I thought that would be a really good idea that in fact, my community was like, we actually really don't need that, And so, just being willing to, number one, is pick at the low-hanging fruit. If you're looking at an apple tree and you see a really nice juicy apple that's at the top of the tree, but you can't reach the top of the tree, pick the fruit that's closest to you. You know what I'm saying? It don't gotta be, it really doesn't have to be like, like it's not gonna have worms in it or nothing like that. But like, it's something that you can grasp, right? Like, what can you grasp in your right now that'll give you a chance to build upon, right? And so that's what I would say is kind of like an outside the box example of how we got started and how we, kind of just utilize what we have to build upon and to show our community.
I love that answer. And so you guys out there taking notes, I hope that, some bullet points that you have on your notepad right now, especially if you're thinking about, building up a business or starting a marketplace or whatever the case may be. Temilola definitely touched on some very important key points, and that was, spotting the low-hanging fruit. She also, suggested doing your market research. You got to talk to people. You can't just assume that something is missing because it might not be missing, or it might be something that people don't want, just like she mentioned. So you want to make sure you're doing your market research. You want to have a proof of concept. And like she said, go after that low-hanging fruit. You might want that pretty shiny apple that's at the top of the tree, but you got to start somewhere. That apple that's about to fall to the ground, it's good. It's not going to mess you up. Just go ahead and be grateful with that and build with that and eat that apple. Okay. So I hope you guys took all these notes, because Temilola, she's just wonderful, and I just love, the mission behind this marketplace. And so for the people, can you just drop the socials? So your social, the marketplace social, website, whatever the case may be, how can we stay up to date with AWA Marketplace?
Yes, absolutely. So, you can find us on Instagram at AWA Marketplace. You can find us on TikTok at AWA Marketplace. And then on Facebook, we are shop.AWA Marketplace. So you can find us on Facebook there as well. And then we're also on LinkedIn. We're trying to get on LinkedIn as well. So if you just look up AWA Marketplace, you can find us there as well. And then our website is AWA.com. And so, that's where if you want to subscribe to the tribe and get early access to start shopping, then you can do that as well. And then my personal Instagram, let me see here, because actually I had just recently changed my Instagram name. I think so I'm at Temi Adedipe. So it's TemiAdedipe. And so that's my personal Instagram. Like I said, I'm a digital creator, so you might find some just like lifestyle stuff on there. There's just stuff that I post on there just about like holistic wellness in general. I'm a fashion girly, so I've got some fashion stuff on there too. But yeah, no, definitely. If anyone wants to connect with us, definitely we've got an Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. We're trying to get on all the major social media platforms. And then if anyone has any questions, or if they're, if you know of a Black-owned brand that would be great for our marketplace, you can just send us an email at contact@awarawa.com. And someone from our team will reach out to you and get started.
That's awesome. Well, yes, I'm definitely going to be hitting you up, with some businesses that I definitely think that could be a great fit for AWA Marketplace. But also, I'm going to fill out that affiliate form because that's just in support, and then also just to be able to just share the products that are on the marketplace to a wider audience as well, because I just love that, you want to keep this circular economy going, and I'm all about that. And for all the listeners who are about that, make sure you go follow her on her socials. Make sure you go follow AWA Marketplace on their socials. And so this was a great interview. I could have asked you 20 more questions, but I will not take up any more of your time. So thank you, Temilola, so much. It was a pleasure having you on the show today. And so to everyone, all the listeners out there, just keep thinking outside of the box.